This is day 3 of the new account experience, and of course we have all these logins and we have the calendar roulette, which is the most fun part of the early game. So it's day 3 out of 10 of calendar roulette, and I do get lucky here and get 30 rolls. Getting 100 rolls here isn't that great, because if you get 100 rolls on the first 9 days, any of the first 9 days, it disqualifies you from the guaranteed 100 rolls on the 10th day. And today I got one new friend, Shizuha, which is great because, as I said, you want to get 18 friends ASAP for errands. And I got a bunch of story cards as well, of course. I'm gonna carry on with my daily routine, which is checking the shop for any seal crystals, claiming the free gift, and claiming my mail, except for spirit points and coins, so I don't go over the cap. I'm also going to go ahead and upgrade the offering box as well as the shrine. And the shrine you want to upgrade as much as possible. The offering box you might want to stop at level 5 or 6 or something, because it gives diminishing returns, and in the mid to late game you often have your coins capped anyway, so the offering box isn't super useful. The next thing I'm gonna do is errands, and I'm just gonna complete those which I started on yesterday. And currently there aren't any errands, there aren't any limited errands. I'm gonna need to spend spirit points in battle to spawn them, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna go to events and go to the one wave stage which I cleared yesterday, and just set this to auto farm a little bit. At player level 100, you have to spend 44 spirit points to spawn an errand, but I'm currently only player level 20 something, so it's gonna take less than that. And also the first errand of the day that you spawn takes 2.5 times the normal amount. So at level 100, that would take about 110 spirit points. Basically, if you're free to play and you want to collect characters, you gotta do those errands. Spend spirit points, spawn them, and do them. Check out my full errand guide again if you want to know more. So I've done some battles, and now I'm gonna check my errands, and looks like 3 of them have spawned, and I got 2 very nice 3 seal crystal errands, which are the best errands you can get. So I'm just gonna send all my friends to do those, and currently I can only do 2 errands at a time. When I finish chapter 1, then I can do 3 errands at a time, which is why I want 18 unique friends to make the most of these errands. I am gonna go into the prayer tab and use my friend ritual, because I got one from the login bonus today. Hopefully that will give me someone new, and looks like it does. Stars of Fire, not a very good friend, but is someone to send on errands anyway. And I'm also gonna do these first anniversary rituals, which I got from login. Oh, I got someone new. Looks like I got Hatate. Wait, no, not Hatate. I got Kokoro. Well, someone's gonna be mad. Anyway, 2 new errand slaves, so that's nice. A lot of new players don't really know what to do, so I'm gonna talk a bit about my goals. Here, I want to finish chapter 1, which is gonna unlock the 3rd errand slot, and upgrade my friends. So 4 paper dolls, the max limit breaker, which I can get from the event as well as from the special task. And also I want to collect some materials to upgrade Misumaru, my early game carry. So again, focus all materials on one character and get that character maxed out. This is the best strategy at the start. What this upgrade button does is that it unlocks some passives and skills. So it looks like I have enough materials to unlock the 2nd skill. But as I rank up my characters, they will take rarer and rarer materials. So now you see I need gold scrolls, and I don't have enough. The way I can get more of these golden scrolls is through the event shop. So the event rare points shop, I can buy some golden scrolls here. And I can also get them from the event lottery. And the lottery uses regular points, not rare points. And you have to do step 1 and then step 2. And these do have some golden scrolls, and that's the 2 main ways of getting golden scrolls right now. The event stages themselves also drop golden scrolls at higher difficulties, so at hard difficulty it starts to drop golden scrolls, and on lunatic difficulty as well, but the drop rate is ridiculously low. It's and on lunatic difficulty it's 0.3% drop for either of these scrolls. So if I'm looking for a specific scroll, it's a 0.15% drop rate. So you're best just getting them from the event rare point shop as well as the lottery, and of course the coin exchange. The coin exchange can sometimes sell golden scrolls, and that's quite worth it to buy. The token exchange is not worth it. Don't spend your tokens on scrolls. So usually rank 4 is where you want it to be, because rank 4 unlocks the third skill, which is quite important. The third passive is usually not super important, so and rank 5 takes a lot more materials, so usually you stop at rank 4, especially in the early game when materials are scarce, because then yeah, you don't need to unlock rank 5. It's usually on most characters it's not that necessary. I'm gonna go ahead and farm more events, and I'm gonna see if I can farm it on hard instead of normal difficulty. So the suggested level is 56 for the stage. I'm gonna see if I can do it at a bit lower level by using the full break mechanic, which is where I break all the enemies' barriers, which will drop their defense and stun them, and then hopefully I can do a bunch of damage. So these enemies are weak to earth and star, and as you can see, Marisa has some star bullets, which I'm gonna use to break their barriers. When they get hit by a bullet that they're weak to, then it will break a barrier. So and Misumaru also has earth and star, so these are gonna break some of the enemy barriers. And when all the barriers are broken, so one bullet line is gonna break one barrier. So when all the barriers are broken, the enemy is going to be full broken, where they will take 4 times the damage, or equivalent to -10 defense, and they will also be stunned. So this is a way to, and this is a very common way of increasing your damage when you go into the late game. So I'm gonna use some skills, and here, as you can see here, if I boost twice, I'm using 4 lines, so the enemy is weak to earth and star. So this is actually gonna break 4 barriers, because each bullet line can break 1 barrier. And hopefully, and this should like do a bunch of damage and kill them. Marisa is gonna break a barrier, and then Misumaru is gonna break the last barrier, full breaking them, dealing tons of damage. And there we go. So looks like I will be able to farm this on hard difficulty. I've unlocked Lunatic, so I'm gonna try and do the same thing on Lunatic, but as you can see, I just don't have enough damage, because Lunatic does have quite a lot more HP than hard. So that's okay, I'm just gonna go and farm on hard. And I'm actually gonna see if Marisa can, or if Misumaru can solo the stage, because that would save on some animation times. So Misumaru does have quite a lot of breaks, of earth and star breaks. And let's see if she can solo it so that it will be faster, so that the auto replay will be faster. So I'm gonna start by using my first spell card with a power generation card, so I can get more power on the next turn. And that will do 1 break to Nidalee as well. And then on the next turn I will be able to boost twice, which will unlock 4, which will mean I can do 4 breaks with the second spell card. The enemies have 3 barriers. I can do, and this spell card does 4 breaks, so it will full break them, and we'll see if that's enough. Hopefully it is, and then I can save some animation time, because I don't have to watch Marisa do her animations. Yeah, looks like it basically is enough. The enemy is stunned, so I can just use a shot to finish her off. And when I level up a bit more, then it will finish in 2 turns. So there we go. I'm gonna save this as replay, and this will mean that I can farm faster, because if I have Marisa there as well, it will be slower. I have to watch more animations when I do this auto replay. So I'm just gonna set this to replay and let this run for a while. Yeah, thank you for the offer, Nidalee, but I'm keeping this account free to play. By the way, this is the best deal if you do want to spend money on this game. I said no, Nidalee, come on, that was just 30 minutes ago. Okay, so after 87 battles, my friends are exhausted, and that's a little bit more than the 75 cap on morale, because they can continue gaining morale while battling. So I've gained some event points and leveled up my characters a bit. Log in tomorrow to get... I did that today, I already got Yomu. If you keep farming when your friends are exhausted, they will lose morale, so I'm gonna wait for a bit before continuing my farming. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep on leveling the shrine and offering box as well as training my friends in the dojo. Again, I'm just using the golden X books because the normal golden books can be used for upgrade sometimes. I'm also gonna go check on my errands. This is quite normal. You do some farming, then you go finish up your errands, and then you send your friends on new errands, and then you continue farming or wait a bit, and that's pretty much the farming process in this game. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more battle to spawn a third errand. If you have spent a lot of spirit points already, just do one battle and then the next errand will spawn. So sometimes you can get wood errands as your limited errands, so just ignore them. Just do the cube errands and then do some daily errands. Even if there are no cube daily errands, you can do the regular daily errands to try and spawn some cube daily errands. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours. I think the coin shop is refreshed, so I'm gonna go check that and buy out the seal crystals as well as these golden scrolls. I'm also gonna buy these golden plum tiles because Mitsumaru needs them. I'm also gonna check up on my errands, complete them, and I'm gonna do 3 battles which should spawn the next 3 limited errands. This process of farming and completing errands is quite essential in this game, so if you're not a big fan, then maybe you should reconsider if this game is for you. And unfortunately, it looks like I spawned a bunch of wood errands again. But that's okay, I'm gonna do this limited cube errand, and I'm gonna do the daily cube errand as well. And now, if I had the third errand slot, what I could do is put my 2 extra friends to do this 1 hour wood errand, and what this would do is basically get rid of it in 1 hour instead of waiting 2 hours for it to expire naturally. Anyway, my friends are now ready to do more farming. They're at full morale, and I try to see if they can do Lunatic, but they're still missing lots of damage, so I just continue farming on hard. After some more grinding and capitalist advertisements, I get some more levels and more event points. So I log off, let my friends regain some morale, and then I come back later to do some errands and start to clear more of the main story. So I'm gonna talk a bit about efficiently clearing these stages. And because I'm over leveled, all I have to do is use a shot, any shot. You can see both my shots are all targeting, so they will hit all enemies, so whichever one is fine. Some friends will have a solo targeting spread shot and an all targeting a focus shot, for example. And let's look at the buttons at the top right. So the auto button, what it will do is it will just use a random shot every turn. So because both my shots are all targeting, I can actually use the auto button and that will just use a random shot every time. I actually want to be using my focus shot, so I could just manually press this focus shot button because my focus shot is a little bit more powerful than the spread shot. So that's what the auto button does. It just uses a random shot. If your friend has one shot that's solo targeting and one shot that's all targeting, then it's not that great, because if you use the solo targeting shot, then that's just gonna waste time. You don't want to use a solo targeting shot against 3 enemies. The auto button is not smart. It just uses a random shot. There's also the full auto button, and what the full auto button does is that on waves 1 and 2, you can see it's a 3-wave state, so on waves 1 and 2, it will use spell cards from left to right. So now if I press the full auto button, it's going to use the spell card on the left, which is a solo spell card. And this is why I'm not really using the full auto button. It's a lot faster for me to just press the shot button and just kill the enemies by using my shots. And the full auto button, it will save 1 spell card for the 3rd wave. So now if I press the full auto button, it will not use the spell card because it wants to save it for wave 3, for the final wave. So it will use shots instead. And on the final wave, it will use all... If I press the full auto button, it will boost as much as possible, graze as much as possible, use all skills, and use spell cards from the right to the left. So, and you can see it doing that. You can see it using all the skills and then using spell cards from the right to the left. So that's the full auto button. And at this point, it's not really that great for clearing these 3 wave stages either. But when you get some maxed characters, you can manipulate full auto to clear stages. So that's auto and full auto. They aren't smart, they don't consider the situation, they just follow those algorithms which I described. If it wasn't clear enough yet, the auto and full auto buttons aren't that great, they aren't optimal. So what if your shots Well, if you're not that over level and your shots aren't powerful enough to clear the enemies, which is usually the case later on, and so what you want to do is use some spell cards. So, and this is why Marisa is good in the early game, because both her spell cards targets all enemies. Story cards are really important. So I have these. You can use Yang attack up for Yang spell cards, or just accuracy up. Accuracy is always great. This card isn't great because it only gives 1 accuracy, but I don't have anything better because my other accuracy card is on Misumaru, which gives 2 accuracy. You want to look for cards which give 2 accuracy, like Poltergeist and Valued Tools of the Trade, the 3-star card that's like a cell phone. So these story cards are really important. So clearing these 3 wave stages, all you want to do is use 1 all targeting spell card every turn. As you can see, spell cards do quite a lot of damage, and even if you're not over leveled, they should be sufficient to clear the enemies. I should also mention that buffs wear off between waves, so the story card I was using on Marisa gave me 2 levels of Yang attack for 2 turns, but and that was last turn, so this turn I should still have that buff because it's a 2-turn buff, but because I went to wave 2, the buff gets removed, so that's just something to take note of. If at this point of the game you are unable to clear stages like this manually using a spell card every turn, then it's really time for you to do some grinding. It's not worth struggling through the stages, just use the game's auto farm feature to gain some levels. Anyway, it's just a few more stages and then I will be done with chapter 1. And we get to the chapter 1 boss, Yukari. This is the first stage where players might start to get stuck. However, because I did my grinding, I am quite easily able to finish her off, even though she does resist star, and I do have a little bit of star in my spell cards and attacks. When the enemy resists your elements, then you do half damage basically. Some tips for this fight would be accuracy, because accuracy is especially important here because Yukari likes to spam evasion up, so if you don't have any accuracy buffs and she uses evasion up, then you can miss a lot of shots and do very little damage. You can also try to full break here, so here Raisin and Petroli have a bunch of moon bullets and I can use those moon bullets to full break her. She is weak to wood and moon, so Raisin and Petroli are friends that you will get for free, which is why I'm using them to sort of showcase this. Even though they are really low level, they're only level 11 right now, because of how overpowered grazing is, they will take 0 damage when they graze, and I'm free to just use some spell cards and try and break Yukari. So it's recommended to use some accuracy cards because if not, otherwise you might see that I miss some of these shots. But yeah, so I'm just gonna use these spell cards to do some moon breaks and hopefully I will hit those breaks. I think I missed 1 break there. Hope I didn't. Okay, so I managed to full break her using Raisin and Petroli. So if you have these two you will have these 2 characters, so and you can just use them to full break her, because these 2 characters are free. So once he's full broken, then your main character can come in and do a whole bunch of damage. Because again, when the enemies are full broken, they will take 4 times the damage from attacks, equivalent to -10 defense. So that's. But if you don't want to bother with all this, then just over level your character and you won't have a problem with normal mode Yukari. Now that I've cleared chapter 1, I've essentially unlocked all the main features of this game. I've unlocked my 3rd errand slot, as you can see. I've also grinded quite a bit of events and gained quite a few levels. I went from level 30 something to level 58, and I have quite a few events points from that as well. And this is where I will end it off for day 3, but of course not before doing my daily tasks. So I've done quite a few of these. I haven't done my daily stages yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Today is a Sunday, which means all the daily stages will be available today. And I've waited till the end of the day to do this, because then my player level would increase and I can unlock a harder difficulty, which will drop more materials, of course. This scroll daily stage is especially important. It has a great drop rate for scrolls at the max difficulty. And to clear these stages, I'm just using a bunch of all targeting spell cards, like I said. and hopefully this is enough to clear the stage. Looks like it will be enough to quite easily clear the stage, or maybe not. It's pretty annoying when Reimu died actually, because if someone dies then you can't save replay. By the way, I'm using 6 friends in the team just to save some levels. I managed to redo the stage without Reimu dying and use the auto replay function, and I do the same thing for the other 2 daily stages. And with that, I'm done with all the daily stages. And that's about it for day 3. I'm looking to grind the events a whole lot more tomorrow to get materials and level up Misumaru. This is Errands, I make Touhou stuff, and see you tomorrow.